Hey guys, welcome to episode number 1, although we probably shouldn't number them, of Bob TV. We're super excited to be here today and answering some of the questions you guys have sent us over the last couple of weeks. This is an opportunity for you to get to know us a little bit better and what our teaching style is like, because we're going on tour next year.
Yay!
Hanging out around America and Australia, which is super exciting.
Yay!
All right, so this question comes from Rebecca. She emailed and said, "Hi guys, my question is, how do you price your time on a cake you've never done before? I mean, some of my cakes I've done take way more time than I thought it would have. Also, when do you know when it's time to raise your prices so you're not called the cheap cake lady?" Well, there's actually 2 questions there, so we'll start with the first one about how do you price your time on a cake that you've never done before. We've all had that experience where we properly price, yay us, and we think, oh, that'll take like 3 hours, and 14 hours later,
we're like, oh darn.
Yeah, I guess I screwed that one up.
Yeah.
Okay, Sharon, how do you price your time on a cake you've never done before?
The first thing I would say is, sometimes you win some and you lose some, as long as you're winning more than you're losing. So it does happen, and unfortunately it happens to me sometimes as well. You think it's going to take you X amount of time to do it, but it takes you much longer.
That happens to you?
Yeah.
But you're like properly professional at everything.
It happens. And the thing is, you can't go back to a client and go, I'm sorry, your cake actually took 6 more hours longer than what I thought it would, so you got to pay me extra. So I always chalk it up as a learning experience, and I go, okay, well, next time I know when I do this, it's going to take me like twice as long as I thought it would, Usually with cakes I haven't done before, I have, with the pricing, and we talk about that quite a bit on tour, is to work out, I work out standard kind of pricings that I can work out in my head. So if it's a 3-tier cake, I know already, boom, 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 it's going to cost this as a base. And on top of that, then I start to add on, how much time it will cost to do stripes, to do ruffles, to do this and that and everything. And if you know already what it kind of costs as a base, even though you may be far off and you may end up losing, you shouldn't be losing so much that you end up not making any money on that order. And that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I do it the same way. There's been plenty of cakes where I do it, and
you too?
I know, right? There's been plenty of cakes where I make them, and I can tell you that my staff members look at me when I say, the next person who orders this stupid thing, they're paying like 8 times as much. What was I thinking? So that happens a lot. It's not at all unusual, but the key is to become aware of that kind of thing and accept exactly as Sharon said, that you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. But the key is to start becoming aware of that kind of stuff. And I also will try, on the cakes that I know will take me a little bit longer, or I'm not sure of, if I think it's going to take me a little bit longer, I'll usually build in a couple of hours of time there anyway. And look, if it does take me that couple of hours, then I haven't lost anything. And if it doesn't, hey, bonus, a bit more profit for me, which is kind of nice. So the second question Rebecca asked was, how do you know when it's time to raise your prices so you're not called the cheap cake lady? And if there's anything we don't like, it's being called the cheap cake lady.
Yeah.
Worst title ever. Yeah. You don't want to be that chick, okay? Don't be that girl. Seriously.
So for me, I think over the last couple of years, I personally, every time I go into a class or I learn a new skill, new technique, or I upskill myself, that's when I go back and kind of revise the pricing, and things like that. I don't do it if you're taking a class, once every 3 weeks, I wouldn't raise your prices every 3 weeks, but, maybe come back on a quarterly basis or on a 6-month basis and then review your prices, and as you get better and as your portfolio grows, as your demand grows, your prices should be going up. There's inflation and all that as well. So don't be that person that, you forget 3 years later, you're still sitting there charging what you did 3 years ago. So
yeah, that would be bad.
That would be bad.
And my response to how you know when it's time to raise your prices is actually you're going to get feedback from your clients who just don't know it. So the people who say to you, you give them a price and you say, oh, that's $100, and they go, oh, really? Oh, okay. I'll go with that. Thanks. Awesome. Yes, please. Sign me up. In fact, I'll have 2. So usually they will actually start to give you a little bit of feedback on what your prices are like, as opposed to if you give quotes and every quote is coming back with, look, that's just way beyond our budget. Look, that's just too much. You want how much for that cake? That's telling you the opposite. If people are not giving you the feedback that you're too expensive, or they're not really commenting on the price very much, or they're commenting that, oh, wow, that's less than I thought it would be, that's usually a really good indication that you've got some room to move in the market to move your prices up a little bit. You really want to avoid being the cheap cake lady, but similarly, you don't want to be the person who's charging crazy prices for things and you can't really justify it. I recently saw a post online, and I'm not going to name and shame, so I'll just keep it really basic, where the person posted a cake And the client was unhappy and she wasn't sure what to do with it. And in the comments, somebody said, well, what did you charge her? And it was in the many, many hundreds of dollars. And this was this person's, I think it was second or third fondant cake.
Wow.
Yeah. And it wasn't a bad cake. She didn't do a bad job, but it certainly was not a professional level, and I would consider that professional prices. So it's a matter of being aware of what your client's expectations are, but also really listening to what they have to say to you. They will tell you in very subtle ways whether or not your pricing is too low or too high. It's the people who go, wow, that's a bit of a bargain. Yeah, cheap cake lady territory. Stay well away from that. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. Looking forward to seeing you next time around.
Thanks for watching Bob TV.
See ya.
See ya.